Hello, listening people.
Hello!
Yes, it is Spit and Polish here. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Bartek.
Yes, and believe it or not, I'm back.
He's back!
I'm alive. I managed to escape all the torments that happened. So you're asking yourself, Ryan, what did happen since last we heard? Well, I do believe I got trapped in some kind of mathematical, calculated thing. But since then, you're wondering, Ryan, how did you escape? Well, I just tied up my bootstraps real hard and I just said to myself, Ryan, you've got to come back. You've got to come back on Spit and Polish. Be the spit to the polish and the polish to the spit, because, you know, we can't just have Luke dominating my position anymore. My main reason for coming back is pure contempt for Luke. I can't let him be in charge of my position. I mean, you know, I just can't allow that. And a voice from the distance, some might call him God, others call him Yahweh, others call him Jehovah, said, Ryan, you need to come back for this movie in particular. And Bartek, what is this movie?
The movie we are watching today is Empire Records.
There's no...
I forgot to look up the Polish name.
Wait. I do believe I speak Polish. This episode is Bizarro World. And it is the movie we are watching today is Empire Records.
Oh, I speak Polish, so I understand completely.
yeah, exactly. So, what do we do here on Spit and Polish, Bartek?
On Spit and Polish, we watched the unappreciated masterpieces, the masterpiece films that have been left behind by history, and we try to promote them back into the mainstream, or, well, not even back, just into the mainstream in general, so that people can appreciate them.
Yes, some might call us heroes, others may call us villains, but I like to think that we're an in-between. We are just simple men from a simple background, and we watch the simple films, and we make sure to illustrate to those. Oh, that's just how good the films are. They make my water bottle fall off the table.
Oh, and it dropped on our guest and killed them.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, our guest is dead. Who was our guest this week? The mighty Judas Iscariot himself. The betrayer, some might say.
He was going to tell us his conflict of, he had to do it, and everyone blames him for it, but he had to do it. I mean, what would happen if he didn't do it? Then nothing would happen.
Yes, of course. Of course we joke. We had a guest in mind, but just like Judas, they betrayed us for silver pieces. We have no guest. This is the third time, just like Jesus, in which they've betrayed us. And, who knows if they'll ever come on. I'm not going to name names or anything, but they know who they are. And they know that we know who they are. And look, I'm not saying that it was a famous Australian actor who stars in this movie. I'm not saying that we had Anthony LaPaglia on the show set up and he betrayed us. But look, I'm not saying that. That's just not the truth at all, is it, Bartek?
No, it's not.
It's not the truth. Don't believe us at all. So we are going to do Empire Records, the masterpiece of film and cinema and the world of it. Now, Empire Records is a 90s film. We are delving back into 1995, I do believe this movie came out. Mm-hmm.
In the middle point between Surf Ninjas and I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Yes, and this movie does star a few stars in it, like it has, of course. The biggest star, arguably, would be Renée Zellweger. I would say she's the one that's transcended beyond this. And then I would say Anthony LaPaglia would be the second. He's an Australian actor, and I'm very proud to see him in this movie with his not Australian accent, but Australian accent. Well, I'll get into that. But this is Empire Records. Now, before we begin, Bartek, what's your relationship with this movie? Had you watched it before?
At the end of one episode we did a couple of months ago, you mentioned it to me how it's a movie that looks like it's a parody of 90s movies. Like, we got the front cover in front of us right here. It's a white background and a bunch of people standing there, and one of the characters who in the film, her name is Corey, is standing in front of them, like, kind of, hey, get back, I'm at the front.
Like I'm the leader.
And and she's got a bit of a navel going on.
So your relationship to this movie, though, like, is this your first time having to have watched it for this program, or had you already seen it before?
Yeah, well, that was my discovery of it, and then I did watch the movie soon after You told me about it. And,
The main reason why you watched it soon after I told you about it was...
Oh, why did I watch it weeks ago instead of, a few days ago?
Yeah.
Well, because... our guest who we were going to have on for this movie cancelled.
Yeah, they were like, oh, I want to watch it. Let's do this movie. I'm like, yeah, we'll do that movie. So Bartek had already watched it once, and since I'm a good Samaritan, a hero, and since I'd been gone off this show for several episodes, 3, since I'd been gone, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to watch this movie again. I had already watched it a few weeks ago in preparation for doing it as an episode, but I said, no, it's been too long since I've delved into Empire Records, so I delved deep back into the beast, and we are going to delve into this beast right now, aren't we, Bartek?
Mm-hmm.
So fasten your seatbelts, because we're going to go on one hell of a ride in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, no. That was a false countdown, everyone, because I did not... I'm the Judas. I'm the Anthony LaPaglia, the cat's door. No.
You are Judas.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, play. Here we go. Now, Bartek, this movie has an amazing soundtrack. Would you not agree?
I do agree.
Now, I saw this movie many years ago with my girlfriend, and... my story behind this movie is a simple one. I'd never heard of it before. I knew some of the actors in it, of course. I knew Anthony LaPaglia. And I heard this intro song. Now, this intro song is The Honeymoon Is Over by the band The Cruel Sea, who is an Australian band from the 90s. And their lead singer is the Australian rock musician Tex Perkins, who is very influential in Australian rock if you know your stuff. And I've never heard The Cruel Sea used in film soundtracks before. I'm a big fan. I own all of their albums on CD, and I am a big fan. And if I can recommend the album The Honeymoon Is Over, which this song is from, is an amazing album. You should listen to it. Their stuff's just really great. So me hearing that song, that band in a big Hollywood movie, I was just wrapped. I was absolutely head over heels. But my story with this movie is a dark one. I'd never seen it, and my girlfriend was like, oh, this is early days of our relationship, so I didn't really know her movie taste, so this was like a delve into, and she was like, yeah, let's watch this, it's going to be really up your alley. And I'm like, okay, and I watched this movie, and I enjoyed it. But here's the reason why it's a dark story. I enjoyed it for all the wrong reasons, Bartek.
What?
I enjoyed it for all the wrong reasons. Bartek briefly mentioned before about a parody. I thought that this movie was a movie made in like the 2000s, and it was a parody or a really, really smart satire on the 90s movies that were like these kind of Generation X-y kind of angst comedies, also farce comedies, because this is a farce. And I thought that this was a wicked satire on that. I thought, like, oh, this movie was like, what, 2002? Making fun of the 90s? I was having a real ball. Like, I was laughing so hard. And then the realization came in. I found out it was not from 2002. I found it was from the 90s. And it was not a satire. That it was a genuine 90s angst Gen X farce comedy, and that just made it better. Didn't it? I mean, what can you say? Like, I warned Bartek before that, hey Bartek, this is not a 2002 satire of a 1995 comedy film. This is a 1995 comedy film, so Bartek didn't even get to enjoy the surprise aspect like I did. But did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah. This character right here, Lucas.
Yeah.
He pretty much triggers off the whole conflict of the movie. Now, what I really... a thing that I really like about that opening scene there was... one of the other characters came out. I believe it was Renée Zellweger.
Yeah.
And she was pretty... she was like, hey, you remember Joe's rules? Anthony LaPaglia's character? And he's like, yes. Don't touch his cigars, his drumsticks, his beer, and count the money twice. He broke 3 of the 4 rules.
He did pretty much all of that.
He counted the money twice.
Yeah, he did that. So, good for him. And then he played it like drums. That's the best part. So, I'm a big fan of the type of music that they use in this film. No, not the biggest. Like, I'm kind of fans of the music that kind of branch off from the stuff they like. I'm not a massive fan of the Doors, but I like the Doors. But I'm a big fan of certain music to realize that this film is fans of certain music that I like too. This guy here, Lucas. He has a real, especially in these beginning scenes where he wears this leather jacket and when he wears the sunglasses and whatever, he has a real Lou Reed look about him. Lou Reed, musician, of course, collaborated, part of the Velvet Underground and his own great musician, and he collaborated with David Bowie and Iggy Pop and all that. And he had a very signature look, very much like Lucas in this movie. And Lou Reed was a very kind of cynical, dark poet type, and that's why I kind of really appreciate that Lucas, who is kind of cynical in his outlook on life, even though he's optimistic and upbeat and kind of spouts things, he's a cynical bastard.
And once more, he's not a parody.
He's not a parody. That's what I love about this movie, is that it's not a parody. This is a genuine film that's like, hey, let's have every character as an archetype, and let's crank it up to the 11th degree of hell. And I appreciate that, because sometimes movies don't have enough archetypes in them, like, just typical cut and paste character types. I mean, I see films all the time, and I'm like, I wish, what's a film that I could point to? Like, say...
Okay, how about Kangaroo Jack? We have the black best friend who's very loud and boisterous.
Yeah, but I was thinking more modern movie, like, say, Room. Not The Room with Tommy Wiseau, but Room. That movie could have used more stereotypical archetype characters. I mean, in that movie, where was the angsty teen that slits their wrist and shaves their head? Yeah, exactly. That could have been used. Or where was the one that's a moody artist that glues coins to the floor? Oh my god, that's a part of the movie. I love this movie quite a lot. I love it so much that I have watched it twice in the span of a month. And boy, does it get better on the second viewing, I must tell you. I had a really fun time watching it the first time round, but the second time round, oh boy. If I had to describe it, it was like pulling out my nails. If you like pulling out your nails, that's like for people who enjoy the sexual pleasure
Ryan's
of ripping out their... I'm a masochist.
Self-inflicting sometimes, but...
Hence I do this show.
Yes, hence you have me as the co-host.
Yeah, you're my sadist, yeah.
And you like it too.
And I like it too. So, this movie, Bartek, now... When you watch this movie, what did you think was going to happen? Like, how in movies, when you watch something, in your head, you figure out what's going to happen? Mm-hmm. What did you think was going to happen in this movie?
So, I was getting the idea, and I did briefly read a synopsis of it. Like, they work at a record store, and the synopsis did mention that they're trying to save the record store from being sold.
From the man.
Yes, from the man. And obviously, as we've seen from the start of the movie to this point right here, our... not main character, this is an ensemble piece, but our first character that we get to know, Lucas, loses a large chunk of the money.
Yeah.
$9,104 or something like that.
Yeah.
So the synopsis was like, oh, they're trying to save the store. So I thought for the whole movie they would, get out of the store, try to make fundraising stuff and stuff like that. But for the most part, the movie is just a day at work.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Not since Thunderpants have we had a movie that suspends the disbelief of time, because this movie takes place in one day,
with the exception of the night that we just passed.
And one day, and like Thunderpants takes place in 1 week outside the parts where he was born and stuff and grew up.
Yeah,
but like this movie takes place in one day, and boy, I wish
Open till midnight.
Open till midnight. May I read on the DVD cover? It has the band. I mean, not the band. The movie's catchline, slogan. Tagline. And this is what it is. I love it. It is an appropriate thing for the movie because this movie is all about rebellion. It's about standing up to the man. That being a teenager doesn't mean you're a kid, nor does it mean you're an adult either. This is the movie. Empire Records, they're selling music, but not selling out. Open till midnight.
Hey.
They're not selling out. This is one of the few scenes in which it doesn't take place at the record store.
Yeah, no, I just looked at it now and I was like, oh my god, what is this?
Oh my god, it's Renée Zellweger. Jeez, she has a face. Unlike now, which she has a different face now?
Yeah, I certainly didn't really recognize her when I watched this movie, even though I knew she was in it.
I mean, she's recognizable. Like, this is more like this young Renée Zellweger. This movie is, one of the first of her biggies, isn't it? Like, one I think made her is Bridget Jones's Diaries and Chicago. I think those two are her caliber movies.
I haven't seen much of her, but Chicago is one that I've seen.
Chicago with Richard Dreyfuss and Catherine Hepburn.
Richard Gere. So Ricard Gere.
50 Shades of Chicago with Richard Gere. Now, Anthony LaPaglia is in this movie. This is also before he was anyone either, because, he's someone now. I mean, he might have been someone here in Australia because, he's Australian, like we mentioned. What do you think of his accent in this movie?
You know what? I didn't really notice too much Australian inflection when I watched the movie. But later when I found out he was Australian, I thought, good on you.
Yeah, his accent is very good. I mean, look, if I had to be negative, and I don't like to be negative on this show, Bartek, you know me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an upbeat guy.
Yes, it takes a Mexican child.
It takes a Mexican child in Hope for Christmas.
So, Latino child.
To piss me off.
Yes.
Or a bunch of scientists and the Shaggy Dog.
You love them.
I love them. What's the Shaggy Dog with Tim Allen? But Anthony LaPaglia's accent does flicker in and out. When he yells, that's a big problem with accents, putting them on. When you yell, it fades. Even great actors folly at that point. There's a bit in the movie where he's like, he's being all like, oh, I'm American, and then he's just like, Lucas. he's just like, I was waiting for him to be like, oh, fucking glass, you cunt. Also, might I add, how is Lucas not fucking punched in the face when he walked through the door?
Because Joe is the father figure of this household.
Now, guys, some people often ask, Bartek, I know you never see this, but they often ask, hey, how do you guys pick your movies? Well, it's simple. Bartek and I have a list of movies, and we get some random stranger to read out, to also do the M&M game. Whatever color one of us is holding behind our back, we pick what movie from the list. And that's how I picked this movie, because I had the brown M&M. Brown M&M.
Do you want to know something I actually did with Will, who was our guest in our first episode and our 10th?
Yeah.
So,
watch those episodes.
Last year, I invited him over and I was like, hey, let's play a Spyro game all the way through. And, I have the first 3 on PlayStation 1. So it was like, alright, which one do we play through? And it's like, oh, I don't... He was like, I don't mind, you pick. And I was like, oh, but you're the guest, so you pick. So we had that awkward moment, like, alright, you know what? We'll play a tiebreaker kind of game. We didn't go through something similar like M&M's. I had this box of nuts on my
and you're like,
on my desk.
Who has a cashew? And it's like, me.
No. And there was like different nuts in this. There was like a macadamia, an almond, and a cashew. So we went to my backyard and I threw them all at the same time. Like, whichever one goes furthest is the one that we'll play. And I think the macadamia went furthest and it was tied to Spyro 2. So we played Spyro 2.
Oh, wow. Wouldn't it have been great if that story was like, oh, no, you pick, and like, no, you pick, and the story ends with you just play Crash Bandicoot instead. Like, if you can't pick a Spyro game, pick Crash Bandicoot, because they're basically the same game.
I mean, one is spinning, one is fire.
One has, oh, here he is.
Rex Manning.
The hero of the story. Now, it's kind of hard to say, Bartek, you said, there's no main character to this movie. It's not the first movie we ever had no main character.
Certainly not.
Well, certainly not. But there's a hero in every story. And I say that hero is Rex Manning, because boy is he heroic in my eyes.
You can certainly make a case that he develops the story.
You can make a case he's one of the few that actually has character development.
Yeah, some people like get over their conflicts, but character development. I mean, to be fair, it is a day.
It is in one day, and Rex Manning gets laid in that day. He's the only one that gets laid, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, like both the women, well, sorry, there are 3 women, but 2 of the women, go for him.
Fling themselves at him, and he was like, "Oh well, there's 4 women. There's his agent.
Oh right, the agent, but
who has weird ass eyes. She has the eyes of a serial killer.
all 4 women are weird, but every character in this movie is weird except like Joe.
Boy, I can't wait to read the reviews.
Oh, he's got a nice smile.
I think Paglia's got a really charming, warm presence to him in all movies, but in this particular movie, he's got like the man rings and the earring, and he's got his long hair, like longish hair, and he's just like, "What's it doing in Atlantic City?"
Recirculating.
Cat.
So again, with him being, a straight character, not like a joke, Lucas answers all questions literally.
Yeah, I love... That's what you do on this show.
Yes.
You're Lucas, and I'm Joe. And I also punch you in the face, but not on screen or on microphone. That's something. This movie is rated M, obviously. And it has violence in it, but you don't see it on screen except for 2 occasions. You see Warren get fucking pulverized with a car door.
His name is not Warren.
And you see, is it the lonely artist guy, get fucking punched in the face by Rex Manning. Oh my god, that was... Okay, I'm gonna say this is my shining light throughout the whole movie. Okay, this shining light, the best moment of... I'll hear yours after, but the best moment for me is, spoiler alert for later in the film, Rex Manning has sex with, spoiler alert, Renée Zellweger, the slut. I know, I'm shocked too. Bartek, hold my hand. I'm so shocked by the fact that Renée Zellweger, the slut, had sex with the ladies' man. Oh my god, I'm so shocked. My heart's palpitating. But he walks out there and everyone's looking at him with his dead-eyed, hateful stare, and he just goes, "What? No applause?" And I was clapping. I'm like, yes, yes.
He has a really... I think one of his last lines is a really good line. Like,
it's "fly away."
No, I think it was "fade away."
Oh yeah,
like,
"Fade away."
Why don't you all just fade away?
It's from a song. Bartek, you're a lonely guy that hasn't had a kiss. Do you often kiss walls with painted women on them like this guy?
I prefer to kiss the air, but... I guess.
I love that. No, Ryan, as a professional person who hasn't kissed anyone, I kiss the air.
And I said it while I was drinking from this jug.
From a jug of water. Oh, she gave them the finger. Which finger? Not
bird.
the thumb.
That was a good joke.
I'm very good at this.
So, she is...
Wearing a wig, obviously.
Her archetype is... the basket case, I guess you could say, to use the breakfast. That's the term they use in the Breakfast Club. I think.
I guess. I was gonna call Lucas the basket case on a level, but you're right. What one would Lucas be in Breakfast
Head
Club?
in the Clouds? Oh, from Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
The jock. I don't know.
Lucas?
I don't know. There are only 5, aren't there?
Yeah, but if Lucas was in the Breakfast Club, what one would he be? Or maybe
He'd be her other half.
He would be Brains, wouldn't he? The brain, I guess. I don't know. He's really smart but dumb.
Yeah, he actually does have an ulterior motive for everything, for what he did in the beginning.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't explain it until the very end.
And what was his ulterior motive?
To get Joe to move on better with his life or something.
By what? Fucking piss his money away.
Yeah, by doing that.
But he didn't know that Joe was saving this money to buy the shop, so he was like, "I'm gonna spend it, so whatever." Like, Lucas just fucked shit up. I forgot a bit that I liked at the start, which was when he was pissing away the money. Some chick was just like, "Oh, you're not so hot anymore." Women are users and abusers in this movie.
Women are shallow.
Women are shallow according to 90s films logic. I mean...
That's why I kiss the air.
That's why he kisses air and that guy kisses fucking wall.
To be fair, it was a wall with something on it.
Now, I feel like this is actually her hair in this shot, but in the shot where she entered, clearly a wig. I think they needed a reshoot. It's all at the back.
Ryan, do you reckon she just does this for the attention?
Look, I do lots of things for the attention. Like, I went off the show for 3 weeks and we got a fucking spike. I swear.
Did we actually?
Snow Dogs, less so. Everything else fucking blasted it. I guess it's a sign that, Ryan, we don't want you on the show anymore. Alright, guys. I'm back. And tough. I'm back for good this time. I mean, look, there's no man keeping me down. Unlike in Empire Records, where the man is keeping them down and all he wants to do is own a fucking toilet shop. What about that? He wants to own a fucking toilet shop.
Maybe he just wants attention.
So, Bartek, you often do research in these movies.
Mm-hmm.
Or quizzes. Did you do any interesting research or quizzes for this one? Was there anything in your endeavours that you found interesting? Because I found one thing in particular interesting.
I did do a bunch of quizzes for this movie, but they weren't really as funny as the other ones I'd done. Like, one of them was like, oh, what's the character who's shooting or wanted to shoot up the places? He's named after an actor.
Right.
What's his name? And one of the options was like Harrison Ford. And I thought, oh, that'd be funny if they just called him Harrison throughout the whole movie because it's a longer name than Warren.
Ari. Oh, I didn't get to hear. What was your favourite little moment of the movie?
My favourite moment? It's really hard to pick. I just really like whenever Lucas does his, literal answer shtick. Mostly like when he is like apologizing for getting up off the couch, but said he's going to carry the couch cushion anyway.
My favorite Lucas bit is the bit where he's like, "What do I do now, Lucas? Do I just phone him up and told him I lie and you stole the money?" He's like, "That's a viable option." I love this movie so much that okay. Even though this is an unappreciated masterpiece and, we shine torches on them, and many times I say that this is the best film ever made, and this is the best film ever made. This movie is so good that I've watched it 3 times in my life. And you know what they say? 3's the charm. I am so proud of this movie that I am vowing never to watch it again.
Well, this is the 4th time in Japan for his death.
Oh, so I died.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I won't be on next week. I like how if you listen to it with sound, it makes like a scratchy noise when he does it. It's like... Also,
yeah.
How possessive is this guy? Not Lucas, but the artist guy. He wants to own Liv Tyler's character. And he wants to own this chick. He's like, how did you do it? I want answers now. I'm not saying that this guy is Seth Green's brother from Scooby-Doo 2, but he's got some serious control issues. Am I right? Like, Rex Manning seems more gentlemanly than that guy.
Yeah,
and he's supposed to be made out to be the bad guy, Rex Manning.
Yeah, I think he's like really trying to be the nice guy or something like that.
Nice
Like caring
guy.
about the women in the movie.
And he gets friend-zoned in the movie, too. So
is he the one that likes Corey?
Yeah. Of course he is. He's the moody artist. Do you see his drawings later on? It's like of her with wind blowing through her auburn hair, and lives in the wind of the shadow.
But again, all the characters in this movie are crazy, so it's kind of like, oh, well, that's his thing. Let's look at the other characters' things.
Well, Sinead, a rebel. Oh, that's a sly comment about rebels. Because in the 90s, there was lots of rebellions at the time. So, watch out what you say, Renée Zellweger, with your catchy modern humour.
I like how you really buy that they hate each other, but they're smiling at each other so much.
Like, haha.
Like, she's got that nice showing her teeth smile. I was like, thank you.
I like how this guy's music gets vetoed all the time. I was waiting for him because he likes, you know what they say, if you like the stereotype, which this movie does. It's a great movie if you like stereotypes and archetypes. That eventually I thought that, when I first watched it, I thought, oh, this guy is angry and he's a stoner and his music is screamo and it keeps getting turned off. I was waiting for him to shoot up the place, but little did I know that it was going to be another character that would come in and shoot up the place. I thought to myself as a joke, I thought, wow, that guy's going to come in and fall down and shoot up the place. But I was wrong. It was another character that does that later on.
So, like, 7 seconds ago, we just zoomed in on a plastic dog. So this could have been in Dog Month.
It is technically in Dog Month, yeah.
And we haven't talked about the thing that stands out on the cover.
I was going to. Okay.
Are you building up to it?
Okay. This guy's a character, for one. I don't know why, but he works at a pizza shop. But Okay, Bartek raised the dog question. On the poster of Empire Records is all the characters standing there, and at the bottom is a dog with headphones on listening to music. And in the movie...
And it's not a plastic dog, it's a real dog.
It's a real dog. And in the movie, there is no dog. Like, this dog never appears. But Bartek, I did my research, and you may be shocked.
Oh, yeah?
There is apparently a version of this movie that you can buy on DVD. Now, I got the original cinema version, but there's apparently a fan-edited version, which is apparently also very good, which includes deleted scenes of the movie. I don't know, I didn't watch that version, but I hope in those deleted scenes the dog is in it. I hope that it is in it. But yes, we're watching just a cinematic version, okay? Make sure you guys aren't watching this fan edit version. If you want to check out a fan edited version of a movie, check out Band Slam, the fan edited version, because I know I did, and I did not know until too late.
Yeah, you shared thoughts on it in the episode, I think.
So, this is them dancing.
Yeah, it's
And this is Joe. I love these. Might I add, while I was gone, look, I listened to the episodes while I was gone, because when I was in purgatory, I was in purgatory for a little while also.
It was between episodes.
I had to listen to the episodes, and I love the fact that I have to replace Luke, because fuck Luke. His commentating style is, there's a fan, there's a guy in a jumper, there's this, there's that. And I'm just like, thanks for filling in.
That was a joke I did in the first episode.
Yeah, I think that is his real style. But if you guys miss that style, I'll fill it in. There's Joe. There's a thing on his head.
That was
There's
funny.
a guy. There's another guy. There's another guy. Do you notice they're all white guys with somewhat long hair? There's a woman. There's Joe again. Oh my god, he's talking. Lucas. And on it goes until you want to stab out your own ears. Can you stab out your own ears?
You can dig them out, I guess, with a
I
spoon
guess.
and a knife.
Mr. Brilliant here has a subtle comment of the fact he's not brilliant. Okay. We have yet to meet a character in the movie, but there's a guy that comes in. I can't remember. Maybe we have seen him. But there's a guy that comes in like halfway through the movie that also works at Empire Records. The guy who sings in the band at the end.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in like for the afternoon shift, I guess.
Yeah.
Now this movie already has like 8 characters. And then they have the pizza boy, that's like 9. Then they have the real owner of the store, that's like 10. And then they have Rex Manning, and that's like 11. And then they have a guy that comes in halfway through that works at the store too. That's like 11 characters. And then you have the agent. It's like, this movie has 14 million characters, dude. I have not seen a movie with so many lead performances in an ensemble piece since Spartacus. I'm not saying that this movie you should watch back to back with Spartacus, but I don't know. You should try it. I don't know what happens.
There's another dog on the wall. Does Cloud Atlas count?
Oh my god! Look straight to the camera.
There he is.
Cloud Atlas. Oh my god! It's a 2-dimensional version.
Oh, no, it's just Corey.
Oh my god! Could get it confused. Cloud Atlas, I guess, but they're all actors playing the same characters.
Well, they're all the same actors playing different characters.
Yeah, they're all the same characters playing the same actors. Yeah.
Man, we should make that movie.
Well, yeah, we could call it Empire Records Strikes Back.
You can call it Ground
Hey,
Molehill.
you know how they're making nostalgic sequels at like 10 years after, like Zoolander 2, My Big Fat Greek, Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is different. It's kind of like a reboot, but like.
But doesn't the trailer say like years ago 4 scientists?
Yeah, but let's be honest. They're just I don't know how it works, but like let's focus on the ones that are sequels that are like 10 years later, like My Big Fat Greek Wedding and Zoolander 2 and
Wogboy 2.
Wogboy 2. Yeah, we should do that on the show. This deserves one. This one's calling for a sequel.
Yeah.
Where's Empire Records Strikes Back? Where instead of it has everyone comes back, right? And they have to somehow branch out and save the store from the internet. Because, you know, that's what's killing music stores.
The internet, man.
Is the internet. So I reckon it would be wonderful if you have that. And you have all these characters, but now they got their own midlife crises going on.
Wasn't there a skit of, like, Seinfeld made years ago of, like... It was like a skit of them in the future, and they like had all these modern day technological problems and stuff like that.
I don't know. I guess I need to check out Seinfeld more often. But I've been too busy watching Empire Records twice in 1 month. Yeah. So, oh my god. So, how does this movie work? I don't know. This is something I used to ask quite a lot, but I haven't asked it in a while, because with these movies I am now beginning to understand the answer to this question, but I've been gone for 3 weeks, so I'm gonna ask. How did this get made? Someone wrote this? Who wrote this? Like, what was the process of the movie? Like, how did they pitch it? Like, hey Bartek, I got a movie for you. Hold your seats. Angsty Generation X kids. You hooked yet? Yeah, I know you're hooked. We set them as all misfits and archetypes, and we shove them in one location for a 24-hour period. And the hook is they're trying to save a record store from the man. You down with that?
I am.
Did I mention that we should have a dog on the poster? But let's be Generation X and not have it in the movie.
Yeah, whatever the pitch was, it certainly isn't.
Sorry.
Shoplifter.
No, do you remember how he says it?
What?
Do you remember how he says shoplifter?
Doesn't he, like, scream it?
Yeah, but
like, really happily?
No, throughout the whole movie, there's several characters who scream it with testy popping action. Like, he doesn't just go, shoplifter! He's like, shoplifter! It's the best.
So, what you said, how was it written? I certainly don't really get the impression that, like, the whole plot of them having to save the store was the main idea, because, like I said before, it really is like a character piece.
It's an afterthought, the plot, yeah. It's mainly about the characters. Like, for instance, I was so disappointed. Okay, this is a nitpick, but I was disappointed that Lucas did not hit him with the couch cushion during this. I was expecting... There's a bit, but we just missed, where Lucas actually pauses to armrest on a parking meter to look cool than just to tackle this kid. He also just fucking has to pulverize that kid. He's gonna get sued later. Cut it too short. See, this character's a hero. He starts up with a complaint. And like I do all the time.
Yes. I think every line he's had so far has been complaints.
Hey, do you see that background extra? The man leaning on the pole?
Mm-hmm.
He was talking to himself. Like, you just see his lips moving and he's talking to no one.
Maybe he was singing.
Maybe he was singing like, Ryan's back. All right. Fuck Luke.
So when I watched this movie back in January before you left, what was he singing?
He was singing, Ryan's gonna be back when you do this episode. All right. Oh, man, still fuck Luke.
Dude, he foresaw that we were gonna get betrayed?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We had a guest and everything. Thanks, Anthony LaPaglia Casdors Jr. Jeez.
You said you weren't going to say Anthony LaPaglia.
Talking about sluts, here's Renée Zellweger. And boy, is she a slut in this movie.
Dude, Anthony LaPaglia was just like putting his fingers to his eyes and he was like, oh god.
You know that he does that in everything? Like he's in? He always does that. Like, you know how actors have their mannerisms? Like their little tricks that they do? Anthony LaPaglia's is to dig his fingers into his, like, brows. He's like, ugh. That's his trick. While Renée Zellweger's trick is to scream when delivering her emotional lines. Like later on, there's that bit where she's like, "You stop! I've stopped!" And who would have guessed that she would sleep with him? I'm shocked. Were you shocked? She's got scary ass eyes, the manager. You may know her from Batman Forever.
I saw that when I was a kid.
Well, she was in it.
Was she the Riddler?
She worked with Two-Face. She was Spice to Drew Barrymore's Sugar. Because Drew Barrymore was in that movie too.
Two very good condiments.
Yeah. I wouldn't call Drew Barrymore a condiment in front of her, though. She takes offense to it.
So,
I'm Rex. Great to be here.
so jumping back to Archetypes, now we got an on-again, off-again character in this movie, Warren.
Warren, who you could also argue is a hero, because he points out the follies of man.
Yes, he does. So his big thing is that he's kind of like trying to be a white gangster.
He is a gangster.
Yeah.
And he also likes heavy metal, which I just love how...
He also likes Dr. Dre.
And Whitney Houston, remember? It's like Whitney Houston's from my girlfriend. Yeah, it is. I love this. Yeah. He's like, I'll take photos with him. Like look at him go.
It's a really unique style to this movie. Like, yeah, we're taking photos of the things you stole, and we're gonna do it like a photo shoot. But ultimately, this is for the purpose of like not incarcerating, but like getting you arrested.
Yeah.
Giving you into the police. So, like you would have said in many episodes ago, how was that written? And
wow, that's you, Bartek. That guy who's just like, oh my god. I was about to ask, what character do you think you are in this movie?
Well, you've already compared me to Lucas.
You really are Lucas, though, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm Rex Manning.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So when, like...
Rock and roll!
Women will come up to you and it's like...
Sing at
Ryan, me? We want you to have sex with me. And then you just pull down your pants and then they'll run away.
Which confuses me.
It's like you wanted me to have sex with you. I've got to take off my pants.
Rock and roll. Rock and roll. What you guys don't know is every time I say that, I've whipped my dick out. You can't... Look, he's drawing her with flowers.
That's why I was giggling.
You know what I love is, not since Meet Dave have I seen an artist so good. Do you remember in the film Meet Dave, the main female character is an artist and all she draws is like fucking flowers. This guy draws girl with flowers and it's like he's going to go to art college. Look, I'm not a professional artist, but I don't know if he's going to get in. She's going to get into Harvard, definitely, but... Will he get into art college?
She's probably going to be in Harvard around the time Facebook gets started, right?
Whoa! And she'll be hashtagging for it with cool. It's so funny to watch this movie knowing what the future for them is. Like, knowing what the coming years would be like. And, hey, do you ever wonder, was Lucas on the same plane as 9/11? I don't know, I'm just saying, he has a terrorist vibe about him.
He certainly
Which I'm not saying implicating that Bartek works for ISIS and he was there in Paris.
Ryan, for the 13th time, I work for the goddess Isis of Egypt, not the terrorist group.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forget. Oh my god, he glued them down.
And it's on carpet too.
Oh yeah.
You can kind of like dig through that.
You could. What I love is when they think of the idea of if this actually was turned into Music Town.
Yeah.
The people who would work there would be so freaking confused. They'd have to actually get new carpeting because they wouldn't allow that kind of conduct.
So we just had the line that artist guy AJ Mark, whatever his name is, Warren was complaining about the coins, said, why did you do this? And he said, I don't have to explain my art to you.
Like, we don't have to explain our art to you.
How does that not automatically put him in an art university?
You got me. You got me there. I mean, for instance, I run an art page on Facebook.
That's true, you do.
Called Stark Reality, or as I like to call it to my friend, Stark Realty. And he says, you know, on that page, you know, being an artist, I relate to that character because art is an essential thing. I mean, some people say Ryan is Stark Reality, Stark Reality's art, but is spit and polish art? Yeah, it is, because we are bringing forth art to you. And by doing that, we are doing art in itself. Isn't that right, Bart?
Yes. When you ask, is it out? Yeah, you already own it.
Yeah. Boom. Rex Manning. He's an artist. I'm an artist. Boom, boom, bada bing, bada boom. Pow! I love Rex Manning in this. Like, I want to know if he was in our world, would he be successful? Because I think he would.
Singing fan.
Yeah, she doesn't even sing it anything like he does. Like, she's singing it in a completely different... It's like if I walked up to, say, AC/DC, and I sung Highway to Hell as if I was an opera singer.
Let's sing Bee Gees.
No, sing it Bee Gees style. They would punch me. I mean, you know, what's his name couldn't hear me, but, you know, I'd be punched.
I'm gonna punch you, Ryan. So, did I just see? Yep, here he is.
Here he is. Now, fun fact about this guy.
Oh, Ryan sighed.
He only did a few movies. One of them was the great film, which we will do that movie on this film, called Johnny Mnemonic with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, Johnny Mnemonic.
You've seen it?
I've heard of it. I know about
There's
it.
a great bit in Johnny Mnemonic in which he's just like screaming a lot like Keanu Reeves. It has not been so dramatic since him in Surf Ninjas. But this guy that just came on screen a moment ago that's just checked in, he was in Johnny Mnemonic, he was in this, he was only in a few things. But what I love is,
Just
you look
like
up
once
this
Bruce
trivia, he is Liv Tyler, or Corey in this movie. He is her, like, stepdad or something or other. He married, like, her mum.
Oh, in real life?
In real life.
Oh,
And he's, like, the same age as her, which is brilliant.
I know that later on there's a extra who's apparently the actor that plays Rex Manning's daughter.
Yeah, isn't that neat?
Yeah.
I love when I get angry, like Anthony LaPaglia, I just drum out my rage.
Because that's his art. That's his expression.
Yeah, like, you know, even the adults have angst in this movie. In this movie, they even have angst. Like, look at Lucas dance. That's how Bartek dances.
I could dance like that.
Bartek, I'm wrong. You're not Lucas. Like, you are Lucas,
Are
but
you going to
you
say
know...
I'm Warren?
You are Warren. But... Lucas is the child of Bartek and our first ever guest, Will Brooks. If they had a kid, it would be Lucas.
Who's the mum?
The mum is obviously our guest that never appeared because the mum isn't in this movie either.
Oh, okay.
Look at Warren go. He even took off his jacket. Now, while they're doing this, if I was Warren, I would just leave. This would be my point to escape. Oh, sex! Sex. One person in the booth. I like there's a subtle joke later where Anthony LaPaglia is walking past the booths and he just knocks on the window and he like looks at it, like looks at whoever it is in there. You don't see them. He looks at them and tucks his head, like, and you imagine it's them two having full core hard anal sex.
Well, I mean,
like imagine this. Imagine if
they
you
both
worked
be
in
facing the same direction, so yeah.
Yeah. Imagine, okay, so Bartek, I'm in your music store, right?
I'm Anthony LaPaglia.
You're Anthony LaPaglia.
Okay.
So you actually turned up on the show this week, and I'm with a girl, an imaginary girl, like our guest, an imaginary one, and I'm just fucking her up the ass, like real hard, like
female Anthony LaPaglia.
my female Anthony LaPaglia. So you're Anthony LaPaglia.
No relation to me.
And I'm in your music store, in your music booth, where it says only 2 people. Now, you do something different to him. You don't just tuck your head. You have to decide. This is like a choose your own adventure kind of thing, right? Okay, you're walking. You see me, and you just, before you see me, you just hear this. You hear the music, douche, 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 but you hear this. You just hear that, bum, 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 and you just hear, Now, what do you think is happening?
Well, you just made that. You just made that sound by punching your hand, so it kind of like sound like flesh, like a fist hitting flesh. So, but I think you were trying to emulate like something banging against a wall.
No, I was thinking flesh on flesh.
Okay, well, I would probably first think that someone was bashing someone.
Okay, so what do you do then? You sprint over?
The first thing I would do is, well, my motivation would be to find out what that sound is. So I suppose sprinting would be the thing I would do.
Mm-hmm. And then, to your surprise, you see my hard-throbbing erection covered in fecal matter going in and out of a tight anus. What do you do then?
I'm gobsmacked. I open the door and I yell at you. What was that sound?
And then I punch you. And then you wake up and you're the one being fucked in the arse.
By you or female Anthony LaPaglia?
By the real Anthony LaPaglia.
The real one?
Yeah.
Does he want his store back?
No, he's just like, do you remember me from Empire Records? Oh my god. Could you imagine that scene? Now picture it. And there I am, podcasting. And you're just like trying to do the podcast. Like, we record it. And you're doing a live podcast commentary on being fucked in the ass by Anthony LaPaglia.
Uh-huh.
What would you think? How would you feel? You just woke up from being punched in the face by me fucking someone else in the ass. Now you've woken up being fucked violently in the ass by Anthony LaPaglia, who may or may not be a lizard man.
Okay, I'll suspend my disbelief on that then. Yeah.
Yeah, he is a lizard man.
Okay.
Sorry.
So what's the question? Because you kind of...
How would you feel?
Well...
Not like physically, but emotionally. I mean, physically you would feel great because you're being fucked, but...
I assume it'd be a while because post-production takes a while, but
No, you're doing it live.
Oh, so...
Like, you've just woken up, I've got the mic right there.
It's like, wake up, we gotta do the episode.
Like, smack, wake up. You're being fucked in the ass, go, before he comes.
I feel like if I was fine to do the episode, then, I'd be kind of a little bit over it, but kind of like having it in the back of my mind while we're doing it. So I'd be thinking about it a lot, but you said that you were going to talk about that happened to me, or is that just me having to deal with that while you have no idea?
Yeah, like, I've punched you in the face.
Yeah.
I've set this up beforehand, but you are unaware. It's like a Funniest Home video.
Hold on, like this is a world where I run a record store, but we also do the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you are... Okay, so this is a world in which we do this podcast, you own a music shop, I go there to have anal sex, punch you out, and set up a rape situation for you.
Yeah?
With the real Anthony LaPaglia.
Uh-huh.
And you have to live podcast your feelings about it.
So I get asked about it, or
I'm like, so Bartek, how do you feel about being anally raped by Anthony LaPaglia? Or do you consider it anal rape?
I mean, shit, man. I was out for some reason, but like I don't know if he managed to get in the store without me letting him in. I guess I was kind of asking for it.
Is he a tender or brutal lover? No, remember he's fucking you right now. So.
You know what? He's a switch. Not that he's a masochist and a sadist, because I'm the sadist, but like. While it happens, it's pretty brutal, but afterwards, he slows down. Isn't that violent? But, by the way, I'm not gay or anything.
No, Bartek's not gay. He just, he just takes it where he can get it.
I just take it when I don't realise that... Oh, is this the scene?
Yeah. Here it is. And he's wearing his man rings while he grabs your hair. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't think the rings are what...
He hasn't even taken off his pants. He's just unzipped them.
I don't think it would be the rings that would bother me, yeah.
What would bother you?
Oh, he just unzips his pants?
Yeah, and takes his dick out. Like, he's not wearing underpants. He doesn't even take off his pants. He doesn't even feel his thighs.
The pants are like jeans or something?
No, they're like his trousers.
Are they like soft pants, or are they going to be like rough, like they might get me a rash?
You might get a slight rash. It depends how hairy is your buttock.
Fuck!
How hairy...
If it's going to give me a rash, then I suppose that would be the problem.
But wouldn't you... Like, if you have... You're a hairy man. In case no one knows, Bartek's a hairy man. So I'm going to make an assumption that you have a hairy thighs and ass in general. Wouldn't you get a slight friction burn from being rubbed against a lot anyway? I don't know. I'm not hairy.
Well, I do have a hairy bum, but, like... It's not like I have got a bare ass where I got hair everywhere.
No, but like if you just rub against it a lot, like friction wise, wouldn't it cause you a slight irritation anyway? So what does it matter if his trousers do?
My bum hairs aren't that thick. It's not like my facial hair.
No, I know that. But like if someone else is slamming against it vigorously for an amount of time, wouldn't it cause a slight irritation anyway?
I don't think it would make much difference because they're not that thick.
Alright then. So Anthony LaPaglia has violently raped you at this point, and you like it, so it's not rape. So don't worry.
Oh, hold on, I never said I liked it. Oh no, sorry, we're role-playing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all hypothetical, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like
Oh wait, here's Anthony LaPaglia! And now we can do the situation for real. Zip down your pants. Oh wait, no, I knocked you up. Bam! Alright, guys. How would it be if I actually set up Anthony LaPaglia to come on the show to violently have sex with you?
Oh, sex this time, not rape.
Well, you seem up for it.
Well, no, but we're role-playing.
Were we? Yeah. Okay.
Right,
sure.
this episode's weird.
While we talk about gay sex, here is Liv Tyler slowly undressing. So yeah, back to gay sex. No. So in this universe...
Oh, she's finally up to the part where she...
is going to throw herself at him for no reason other than plot demands. I feel sorry for Rex Manning in this movie because he gets cock-teased quite hard in this scene. And he doesn't even know what he... I don't even know. Okay, I'll be honest. I had to ask my household, why did she walk out? I was like, what did the guy do wrong? She was like, I want this. He's like, you sure? He checked for consent, and he made sure that this is what she wanted. Like, he even commented, I'm old enough to be your dad or something. Or like, you sure? You sure? Yes, I'm sure. Zips down his pants? Why did she leave? Was it like his dick was weird looking? Like, why? I had to ask. Did you think that, Bartek?
I was also slightly confused. My conclusion that I came to was like, he wanted to start by getting a blowjob, and that apparently was not okay with her.
Yeah, foreplay's not okay.
Like,
I guess just hardcore banging her, I guess.
Just to establish people, like, it's her choice if she wants to back out, but we just want to know what her reasoning was.
Yeah, what a reason, because it's not made clear, evidently. Like, I thought, is there something wrong with his dick? And then I thought what you said. Like, they said, like, my household said, well, she wanted a romantic kind of blissful, tender thing. But what I think is that's a lie, because she knew that she was going to sleep.
She's taking off her clothes, so...
Yeah, she took off her clothes, but what I mean is she wanted to have groupie sex. That's not romantic. She knows that. She wanted to have groupie sex, so she knew it was going to be sleazy. So why did she back out when it actually happened? I guess maybe, obviously, it's her choice and it's not the right thing to do. But at the same time, it wasn't so evidently obvious. I was like, what, he wants a blowjob? What? Men don't automatically get erect. There's not like, oh, there I am erect. You have to give some tenderness, some kind of thing, and maybe he needed a lick.
Maybe she had some kind of outside force tell her that. Like, an instinct that said,
yeah,
just stop, don't do it.
The director or the writer, perhaps?
The script?
Yeah, the script. Yeah. Maybe there was a scene in the outtake version, fan-edited version, where
Rex Manning was, like, starting to get violent or something?
No. Like, I imagine, like, reasons why, like, it shows his dick, and it's got, like, a little face on it.
Maybe she doesn't know what a dick is. She got confused.
Maybe he has, like, a snapping tortoise down there, and he's just, like... It looks up at her with a winking eye and goes, help me!
Have you seen Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah.
There's that one nightmare scene where the dick is like this big kind of worm thing.
I imagine like, imagine this in the outtake version. It's actually an episode of Goosebumps. like it's just like he zips his dick and it's got like her face but old on it, and he's just like, don't do it. Help me! And he's like on his balls are like other women's faces that are like, trapped, and it's like her old face is like her from the future warning her, and he's just like, blah! And he like zooms into his red glowing eyes. I imagine that would be great.
Maybe Rex Manning has like telepathic powers, and he was like telling her, I'm from the future, you don't want to do this at that point.
Yeah, but
like, now go to the roof and cry
like a bitch.
So, for the people listening who haven't seen this movie, you're probably wondering, why aren't you guys talking more about what's happening, with the plot? Like we said, this really is just a weird day in the life. It's not really... We haven't really talked about them trying to save the store because they haven't really...
tried.
They haven't tried to raise any money. They've just gone about their day, and when they do the really fun stuff, they have a lot of fun. They enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's like, there's no tensity except with Joe.
Yeah, if you're a stickler for plot, here's the plot. They try and save the record store, but in the meantime, this person's in love with that person. They're going to tell them at this time, but they tell them at the wrong time. Boo-hoo. Slut is slut. Artist is artist. Joe drums when angry. Warren comes back later with gun. Movie could be more interesting if it turned into a siege situation, but no, they save music store by making a band play on roof. Finn, like credits roll, kiss at the end. There you go. There's your plot synopsis. You can read it on IMDb, but you don't come here for just a plot synopsis.
Well, that was a summary, yeah.
Yeah, summary, synopsis, whatever. Thanks, Lucas. I mean, Bartek. You come here to hear us talk not only about the movie, but what we get from the movie. The theories, the intrigue, the reasonings of why they do what they do. That's a part of a masterpiece, and an unappreciated one. A masterpiece stands out from the rest of the movies, don't they? Unappreciated, appreciated, or overappreciated. What makes a masterpiece is you don't just watch it for the plot, necessarily. Like, I don't just watch Casablanca because of the plot's really good. You watch it because there's so much more about it. The characters, the depth of those characters, the overall quality of the picture, the behind the scenes things that transcend into the front of the scenes things. All these kind of things make masterpieces, and that's what makes these ones as well. But the audience has not paid attention to them, hence they are unappreciated.
Which is funny because I mentioned this movie earlier. The Breakfast Club is about 5 students trapped in a library.
You're right, so the Breakfast Club did rip this off.
It did.
I mean, this movie was made after, but it inspired Breakfast Club.
Yes, and that movie is really well received.
Yeah, I think it's a bit overrated, to be honest. It's one of my lesser favourite John Hughes movies. Favourite John Hughes movies? Planes, Trains and Automobiles. Just saying. Fun tip. But Rex Manning is hard and ready to go. He's wearing his jockeys. And she's looking at it like yum, yum, yum. Which is great. What I love is, too, that she's just going to have sex out of spite. Which is the best way to have sex, if you're going to have it, Bartek. Recommendation? Spite. I remember I talked about being spiteful for coming back on the show, and it's fueled me. At first, guys, I was hesitant about this episode. I haven't been on it for a while, I've had to get the gears going again, and we have no guest because of betrayal and lies. And it's just Bartek and I, and sometimes that can be a bit, ooh, and, but you know what made it, Bartek? What makes me confident in this? Mm-hmm. The film itself.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when I worry about, will this episode be good? Yes, us creators do worry about these things. Don't think that we just half-ass and just be like, oh, we've got the movie, we'll just whack on the mic and commentate. We do homework, we do research, we do all that stuff. But we worry, don't we, Bartek? Like, I worry. Like, I was worried on the way home today. That I was like, I don't know. Like, am I up for this? But as soon as you put the DVD in the machine and see the credits roll, you're inspired. That's how I look at this, at least.
And it also helps that, you do this show, you get, thoughts out there, you project your fantasies onto me, you talk about the weird characters, and we just generally have a good time.
Yeah.
Talking and bringing up, sensitive things, but, we're very sensitive people. That's why we talk about sensitive topics.
Such as why this movie is great. It's sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
I like how this movie has no plot. Like, I know we've talked about it does have a plot, but it's just like a series of vignettes. It's like 14 different movies in one movie. Like movie ideas that didn't carry over to this movie, so we'll shove it in this movie. Like, do you remember that there's a fake funeral scene in this movie?
I definitely do.
There's sex scenes and there's dancing, lots and lots of dancing.
Yeah, dancing and people who hate each other dancing together.
Well, the stoner and her actually get on quite well.
Yeah, I guess they do.
She always compliments him. Oh, that's the artist, sorry. Her and the artist and stoner guy get on really, really well. Like, she gets on with the guys, not the chicks. The only guy that she kind of doesn't get on with is the guy that's her boyfriend, and because he's a selfish narcissist asshole that doesn't pay attention to her. But I agree. They just randomly took his shirt off. And how old is he supposed to be? Because he has a lot of tattoos.
Well, some of them are talking about going to university, so they'd have to be early 20s, maybe late teens.
Late teens, because she's not going to university till like 99 or something or other. Or was that like her graduation year?
I think it was graduation. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that far off from it happening.
I wonder how old Anthony LaPaglia is in this movie. I wish I looked that up. Like, wouldn't it be funny if he was actually like in his like mid-20s? So he's like only a couple years older, but he's like, "I'm your boss." Like this scene, his accent slips so much.
Does he look older than me?
Yeah, he does. He does look older than you. It's kind of hard to say because Bartek looks like 69 years old. But yeah, he looks older. Like Anthony LaPaglia could pass for 70. I wish he was in more movies. He's a great presence. Like, oh, finally he gets it done, but we don't get to see it, which annoys me. But movies are out there to give you pleasure and annoyment at the same time. Annoyment? Is that a word?
Annoyance.
Annoyment sounds like an ointment.
Yeah, no.
Like, I got serious carbuncles. Pass me the annoyment. Annoyance. Yeah. I wish that we saw him get punched. But don't worry. Rex Manning's the hero of the movie because he punches someone. And think, he's wearing man rings, Rex Manning. So is Joe. Do all the men's wear man rings in this movie? I didn't know that like necklaces and man rings were really popular in the 90s, but I guess they were. Bartek, do you wish that we remember the 90s more?
Yeah, I certainly don't remember it as much as other people that grew up in the 90s. So
like, we were born in 93. So we're still technically 90s kids because a lot of the shows that we watched were 90s shows anyway. But I'm more of 2000s kid, aren't we?
I suppose, yeah. Like, I guess I did watch a bit of Nickelodeon. They had some old shows that lasted a while, so...
like the Amanda Show.
Yes.
And I wish I had more memories of the 90s. It seems like the 90s was a simpler time. A blander time, though. Like, the 90s is the generation... Like, it had good stuff in it, don't get me wrong, but the 90s was like the carbon like a copy of 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 a decade beforehand, which is the 80s. Like, it seemed like a very faded version. Like, at the 90s...
Trying to be a radical 80s.
It's weird that we've got... There it was. What? No applause? And here's the moment. But the 90s seems like it has no identity until the later parts. Like, it does have an identity. Denim. Surfing in... There it is. He just punches him. Like, socks him one, like, bam! Like, whammo! It's like, oh. But, yeah, the 90s, I wish I do remember more of it, because I reckon, like, if I did, maybe I would recognize why there's this nostalgic buzz coming back about it. Because for me, it's kind of giving me the shits, to be honest, seeing the 90s come back into fashion, because I thought the 90s was kind of bland. Why don't you all just fade away? And he does. He fades away. But yeah, I wish I remember the 90s. It seems like it was a simpler time. But yet again, when you're young, everything's a simpler time, isn't it, Bartek?
Yeah.
The only thing you got to worry about is when is Empire Records 2 coming out? I'm still worried. So, yeah.
Do you reckon it'll have the same cast, or is Renée Zellweger too expensive?
No. She'll be in it. She's not doing much. She's retired from acting for a little while. So she'll be in it. She'll play Joe's part, like she'll be the manager, and Joe will be like in a wheelchair with like a tube coming out of his throat, and he'll be like, "It's me, Joe," and he'll be like the domineering retired man because he's like 100.
Who constantly reminds people what his name is.
I'm Joe.
It's me, Joe.
It's me, Joe, and he like drums when he's angry still, but he like.
But it's obviously not as fanatical, I guess.
No, he has it like on a touch screen thing.
So like instead of what Stephen Hawking had to like produce speech, it like produces like drums. Like beats.
Beats. Now this is a dramatic scene. This movie, what genre would you put it in?
It certainly has elements of comedy, but when you come to scenes like this, I almost don't want to say drama because it's so unique.
I would say that it is a self-exploration, a coming of age. Because all the characters...
I think self-exploration fits more than coming of age.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say, yeah. Because they both interlink so much. And it's all these young people realising what it's going to be like to be an adult.
Well, to jump back to our comparison, what genre would you say Breakfast Club is?
Coming of age.
Yeah, actually that one is more coming of age because they do walk out of it different people. This one...
They walk out of it the exact same
way.
way.
They walk out of it feeling a little better, but...
I think the best way to describe it is it's a friendship movie. Because they all walk out of it as friends. Because at the start, this chick hated that chick, but now they all come out of it with a strengthened relationship. Bartek, do you ever just casually pee in front of other people? Like, do you just casually, like, urinate in the same bathroom as anyone else? Like, not public toilets, but, like, talking to someone? So they can see you?
Not while in the same room as me.
No, exactly.
They're on the other side of the door, maybe.
Yeah, that I can do, but, like, I don't know how it's different for girls. Like, we had a guest on a while back on the show of on our episode of Bandslam, and, I guess, like, I don't know, if we had a female guest on this time around, which would have been wicked, do you think, like, answer this question for me, do girls just do that? Is it just normal that you guys pee in front of each other, or is that just unusual?
Well, with guys peeing in front of each other, sometimes when they're out in the wild, they might, like, pee on a tree or something.
Peeing for guys...
Like, even wild hogs had that.
Yeah. I guess, like, women have a different toilet culture to us, because they go in groups according to the mythos. Well, we just, like, I'm going to go for a piss, and you're like, alright.
Well, yeah, but they don't watch each other, I don't think.
I don't know what they do in there. They powder their noses. What does that mean?
I've hired private eyes, Ryan. They tell me that they don't watch.
So this band's in it. Gua. I like Gua. Like, I'm not a big listener. Don't be like, hey Ryan, what's your favorite song? I don't know. I just like them. I
like them in this movie.
I like how it's clearly not them. Like, I know it's them, but, like, not their voice. Because I don't imagine the singer from Gua is going to sound like, hey man.
Holy shit, he's getting eaten.
Holy shit, and he's loving it. Like, he's, like, a little worried, but then he's just, like, turned on by his own death. He's the sadist here.
It's funny.
Like, I got it.
So while you're self-masochistic, he's self-sadistic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, whoa. Inflict pain on himself. Is that so masochistic or sadist?
It's masochistic. I don't know how self-sadism works unless it's just talking to yourself.
To all our pervert listeners out there,
yeah,
how does self-sadism work? I bet there's someone who can answer that.
Maybe they record themselves as a masochist, and then they record themselves, like, shunning
Maybe they
them.
give themselves orders.
Yeah, but...
Like, beat yourself, pig!
So I guess...
Do they spit on their own genitals?
So I guess
scum.
So I guess the deep question is, where do you draw the line between self-masochism and self-sadism? That's the question of the episode.
You know what's really sad? Throughout all the episodes we've done, we've raised a lot of questions, but boy am I actually interested to find out the answer to this one. Like, I've always wanted to know the answers to lots of them, but sometimes we do find the answers because, like, look, we watch the movies beforehand and we think about it, but sometimes that you come on a realization after just rambling about things. I would say this show's just about rambling. Lots of times I've discovered deep and meaningful things by just keep talking to you and the guest.
Oh, same here.
And just watching the movie again and talking about it, and you realize things like, in our first ever episode, I discovered that the character in Big Fat Lie that's obsessed with dogs, last name was Barker, and I never noticed that until we actually talked and talked and talked. And that's what I'm getting from this movie, is just, like, so many things. That's a part of why I like doing this show, man, is just, we just talk and talk, and I realize things and take things that I don't realize, but subconsciously it's there.
So we're up to the funeral scene.
Now, Bartek, if I had a fake funeral, which I could have done when I was away, what would you say at my fake funeral? And who do you think would attend out of our guests that have been on the show?
Well, it depends.
All of them, I imagine, except for our current one.
If the current situation of all our lives are as it is now, no one. But if a store that we owned is running out of money, is about to be sold, and we need to make a lot of money, I think everyone would attend.
Anthony LaPaglia would actually attend.
Everyone would
I was
attend.
thinking if we had a funeral for me now...
Except him.
Jesus. If we had a funeral for me now, I would only have our guests that dropped out come to it. They're like, I made it this time, Ryan. And I'm like, thanks.
You'd thank them?
Yeah, I'll be dead. Well, it's a fake funeral.
Oh, so if we had one of these kind
Yeah,
of...
I said fake funeral.
Okay.
I've been to too many real funerals.
Would you approve of having candles around you?
No, my hair might catch fire. This chick doesn't have to worry about it because she's fucking bald.
Oh, so that's why she cut her hair. She
didn't want to catch it on fire. On fire, yeah. Dos Fuegos. And Renée Zellweger, I like how they hijack her funeral. Like, they're talking about everyone but her. She's like, great funeral, guys. Like, even her boyfriend is just like, yeah, man. Like,
isn't this the scene where Lucas confesses, like, his tragic past?
Yeah, like, he pees the bed all the time. Again, much like Bartek.
I actually did a few years ago because I was like having a lucid dream and I thought I was going to the toilet.
How old were you?
Well, it was a few years ago.
So I knew you?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like really weird. Like I was like, oh, I gotta go to the toilet, and then I was like, wait a second, I'm in bed.
Too late?
A bit, yeah.
A bit. So you
Yeah.
peed your pants.
Well, I was in bed.
So you're wearing pants or no pants?
No
Do you sleep
pants.
naked?
I sleep with underwear.
So that's underpants.
Yeah.
I sleep in pajamas, man. I do the jocks when it's hot, but like overall I like to wear pajamas because you never know when you're going to be cold out of bed in the middle of the night. You know? Like that's me. I always have a constant fear. Don't use this against me, but I have a constant fear that I'll wake up when our house is being burglarized or home invaded and I'll have to do something about it because I'm like, what will I do? I have this big ass torch that's really heavy, and I'm like, I imagine I'll turn it on and blind them and hit them with it, and that's like the best I got.
And then as you go down, it's like wearing pajamas, pussy.
Yeah, I want to see his dick.
What? You want to see his dick?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with anything?
No, that's what they're saying.
Oh, okay.
Because you said, "Oh, what a pussy wearing pajamas." They're like, "Yeah, I want to see his dick," because we're gonna hide.
I thought that's why you brought the torch because you wanted to see the burglar's dick. This episode's fun.
It's a really bright torch. Yeah, because it's got lots of homoerotic overtones. Not undertones, overtones. That's a great name for a band. Homoerotic Overtones. And all they do is do covers of ABBA. Oh, look, it's Warren. What's out, Warren? I like how we never find out his name either.
That was one of the quiz questions. What's Warren's real name? And you don't find out.
Is that the answer? Like, you don't find out?
It's like, it's never said. That's the answer.
God grief. I am hungry.
In real life?
No, in fictional life. Yeah,
I thought you were like,
life. I'm hungry for the wolf.
I thought you were telling us how Warren's feeling.
Warren. I'm Warren? I thought I was Rex Manning. I'm already gone. I might as well step outside and get food.
There's some people outside just walking. I'm not saying that you became him. I thought you were like telling us what you think he's thinking.
Hey, do you find this is a weird time before mobile phones? Like, I know mobile phones exist, but like before anyone actually owned mobile phones, only like people like Rex Manning.
Hmm?
Do you find it weird that this is a time where people would have to sneak to the phone to actually call for help? Like, nowadays you can just call for help. Like, you can do it in your pocket and be like, help. But these people have to run and crawl and duck and hide. Do you find it great that we don't live in this time in which we have to do that?
Well, it's certainly more convenient these days, and, you know, we might save our lives, but on the other hand...
Where's the campy fun?
We're pussies. Because we don't have to do all the dodging to get to a phone that's connected to
we're
a
not
cord.
staff. Oh, wait, if you own your own music store, you would.
Yeah.
You'll be offering him a job. Would you offer Warren a job?
Well...
After what he did at your store?
Well, Ryan, he clearly has a kinship with all the people that work there from the few minutes he spent with them taking photos.
Yeah, he fucking hates them. That's his kinship.
But he wants a job. That's all he wants, Ryan.
Yeah, that's
Don't
why
you
he's stealing.
Look, when people go
You wanna
crazy...
work here?
When people go crazy, they don't go crazy for no reason. They want something.
Yeah, that's right. No one ever suffers just mental
He
illnesses.
clearly doesn't even know how to hold the gun.
He knows how to fire it, though.
Yeah, you pull a trigger, boom.
Yeah, but there's more to just that. There's, like, recoil.
Yeah,
and...
I've fired guns before, I know, but...
Yeah, but he
dealing
obviously
with
has. I have not.
Having experience to deal with it is one thing. Simply pulling the trigger is, like, emotion.
Yeah, but, like, just, oh, you know, like, oh, and he, like, some people forget about safety and...
Well, yeah, he's waving it around. That proves that he doesn't really know how to use the gun.
Or maybe
But
he's
simply
crazy.
but simply shooting it, that's something that can happen accidentally.
He does do that, actually.
Yeah.
But he honestly, I agree with you, but also you could argue, like, maybe it's just his, like, you know, like, what's a word I'm trying to say? Not just crazy, but he's, unruly.
Hysterical?
You know? Hysterical. He may know how to use the gun, but he's hysterical. That's not uncommon.
Maybe.
It's not like he's a professional criminal who's like a crime boss or something, like a hitman. Like, you know who I feel would use a gun with cool ease? Lucas.
Lucas, yeah. Have you seen the Mad TV sketch Gump Fiction?
No.
It's basically a mixture of Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction, and whenever in that skit Forrest Gump uses a gun, he's got that blank expression he always has. So it's going to be kind of a bit like that.
My mama told me that if you shoot him twice in the head, they dead.
Lucas does not look too much unlike Tom Hanks's Forrest Gump, I guess.
Yeah, he has a dumb thing.
Young Tom Hanks.
Now, viewing it the first time around, I thought it was a rip-roaring comedy, which it is. But viewing it the second and third time around, you get to the emotional deep layers. Like, the humor obviously still prevails, but you get down to the thing, and what I noticed is a smart acting choice is Lucas is very self-contained. He rarely lets any real genuine emotion out, but when he does, it's only a glimmer. It's not like he's crying like, you know, others, and he's still true to his character. Like, at the end of the day, his character is self-contained. He's bricked up on the inside. It's not like he's not willing to call out for help. He does, but he does it his way, genuine to the character, which is to just let it slip a little. Not make a big deal, but just be like, you know, he's the kind of guy that's just like, he won't ask for your help until he really needs it, and he only say it in one way, which is casually. He'll be like, Bartek, I need your help. And he won't say it like, Bartek, I really need your help. Like, oh, I'm in trouble. He'll be like, Bartek, I need your help. And he would say it like in a way where you feel pumped to help him, but not like too pumped. Is that a fair criticism?
No, I completely agree
just like
with what you
Bartek.
said, yes.
Because Bartek was like, throughout me not being there, he was constantly emailing me through bird mail, because you can't email me where I was in Purgatory, through bird mail, and his things would just be like, help me, Ryan.
Specifically with parrots that swear a lot.
Yeah, he was like, fucking help me, Ryan.
No. I put messages on parrots that swore a lot, and they delivered
it. Fuck you! And I'm like, oh, and I shot it, and I didn't read the messages.
Yeah.
But
so
they finally give a damn.
Yeah, remember way earlier when I mentioned, hey, what if Judas didn't do what Judas done did? Yeah. What would happen then? Warren just did the thing too. If he did not do what he just did there, the news would not have come to report on it, and they wouldn't have been able to advertise their little fundraiser.
Yeah, he's a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Some might think it's staged because he got out of that jail pretty freaking quickly.
Well, I think, didn't they justify that, like, they let him off because he's young or something?
No, but, like, still, he would be there all night getting all this stuff done, and they would at least spend time for what he did, like, in the county jail. But he's already out, like, an hour later.
Whoa.
Yeah, people just ride their kegs on skateboards. Do you remember the old skateboard keg period of the 90s?
No, but I wish I did. That's what we're talking about.
I wish I remembered it more. Oh, these grannies are getting into it, like, with their rollers on. Oh, here he is, the other hero.
Mitchell,
like, I know he's already been in it, but he's a hero.
I think he must have been around when we were talking about me being raped, so you weren't paying attention.
Yeah, when I think rape, I think Mitchell from this too.
He kind of reminds me of Seth Green wearing the business suit in Old Dogs.
Yeah, but Old Dogs. Seth Green could have played this character, but he was too busy being
Seth Green in the 90s.
Which would have been...
Was he even doing anything?
He was a child actor. He was in the movie My Stepmother is an Alien, which we would do on the show. His girlfriend in that movie is Lily from How I Met Your Mother, and he would go on to play her girlfriend. He should go on to play his girlfriend again in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Wasn't there a movie he was in about a guy from California who was like really into extreme sports like surfing and skateboarding who moved to Alaska?
I don't know. I know he's in Without a Paddle. That movie where he has to find this treasure because his friend died or something.
I think in the movie I was talking about, he has like really long hair, almost like feminine hair.
I don't know.
It's got some kind of radical name like Hang 10 or Hang High or something.
Hang High, next to Shanghai Nights.
No, it's got like Airborne or something like that. It's got a radical kind of name.
Radical.
We could do it on this show, I reckon.
We could do them all.
Another Seth Green movie where he has long hair and is younger.
We could do every movie. Something about that, guys. Look.
Oh, here's his motivation.
Oh, yeah.
I knew you weren't happy.
I knew you weren't happy. While he's getting motivated, you know, guys, don't feel too afraid to give us a bit of a tinkle on the page. You know, we're always up for more comments, if any. And
Tell us off for our rape skit.
Yeah, if you're skit, I thought we were telling the truth. If you think, Ryan, should you put a trigger warning in the description? Nope. And you know, request movies. Like we've got a list. I've got a list. And sure, your movie may not be done next episode, but you know, we don't know every movie. We can't know every unappreciated masterpiece because they've got to be unappreciated for a reason, which is not everybody knows them, or everybody thinks of them. And I might not think of, say, Like Mike, or something or other, or you know, Flipper. But you might, and if you remind me, I'll be like, oh my god, or I might not know it, and I'll check it out and be like, this is perfect.
Didn't we mention Flipper in the very first episode?
Yeah. We'll do it next year as a 1 year anniversary.
Not episode 52 because we missed some weeks, but yeah.
We missed like 2, yeah.
Christmas break, and I think
we'll do it again. But yeah, this is a movie in which the question I asked, how did this get made? Now, this movie, do you think this movie could be made today?
This movie made today, I think like we said earlier, it would be more satirical and it wouldn't be as played straight as some characters are.
I think this movie wouldn't even be made, to be honest. I don't think so. Because this movie style is dead, to be honest. It's a style... Here's a funny thing. You know how they're bringing back nostalgic properties? Mm-hmm. How come they aren't bringing back nostalgic film styles? Like, for instance, it's not just in this film. I'm being legit here. There's a thing that happened in the 90s where it was direct look to camera, which was evoking something like, not fourth wall breaking necessarily, but like direct look to camera. They do it in this movie. They're about to do it in a moment where Lucas talks directly to us. It's a fourth wall break. But movies like Forrest Gump or Philadelphia or, you know, all these movies, there's moments in them when they're having a speech or something where they look directly to the camera and it really evokes something. I kind of miss that. But it is this style of filmmaking in the 90s in which it's like zany. Zany for the point of it. Like, not like, oh, we're gotta be zany. It's just like, oh, you know, here we are. This is it. You feel like that's the type of thing the characters would do. Like, Lucas would just, like, look at the camera for a second to evoke something and then back. Or maybe Joe, actually. Yeah. And I feel like this movie style may come back one day. Like, but the problem is, styles come and go, in and out. I mean, you could hear me sitting here going, I miss the old 1940s style with the credits at the start, which I kind of do. But, you know, I hope one day not only will nostalgic properties like Empire Records be brought back, but nostalgic styles, film choices, editing. Conventions, basically. Conventions be brought back. I think Hollywood, listen to that. Listen to what we just said. Do that. Do that, please. I saw Hail Caesar today, and that film was all about playing with old-style conventions of old Golden Age Hollywood, and it worked. So I'm saying, do that. Do that, because that's what I think falls with remakes or redos or retreads of original things. They have modern style, yeah. They have a different style, and if it's different too much, it's a tricky thing. If it's too different, people don't like it. But if it's too much the same, it's just the same.
Yeah, not that I didn't like the movie, but I remember when I first saw Toy Story 3, Hand the Pig had a line where he's like, "Oh, well, I'll look up our prices on eBay," and I was like, "Oh, that's a joke that doesn't really fit here." And even the new Star Wars movie had a bit of, like, a humor that...
Hip, modern humor.
Yeah, like, the part where... What's the black guy's name again?
Finn.
He had that part where he's like, "This why are you doing this face? Why are you doing this face?" Just over and over again. I'm like, that's not the kind of humor that, like, Harrison Ford would have done in the previous movies, or even.
But at the same time, you gotta liven it up. You gotta make it different. You know what I mean? You know, people complain that Star Wars is too similar to Star Wars, but they also complain that the prequels weren't similar enough. Where do you win? Here's an example I like to think. It's a controversial one. Now, I don't know. People don't like it, even the creator doesn't like it, but I like season 4 of the TV show Arrested Development, because the show Arrested Development was cancelled, and then it came back, and it could have easily gone back to the way it was, but I commend a show that can do both. Go back to visit what it used to be, but do something different with it. Do a different style, and I think, you know, that's got to be what you do with these kinds of movies where, like, say if you did bring Empire Records back, you got to make it a mixture, a blend, because you don't just want it to be a 90s movie in the 2000s. I will say this though, in this teen era, what is coming back from the 90s in convention style is action movies. John Wick, Olympus Has Fallen, White House Down.
Yeah, even Schwarzenegger came back.
Schwarzenegger's back, but like lots of these action movies are retreading the 90s action movie style, in which it was, we don't give a fuck, boom, explosions. Not Michael Bay stuff, but like, you know what I mean, like Schwarzenegger, Stallone, 90s action movies, Bruce Willis, all that late 80s, 90s. That's coming back in style, so I'll give it that. That convention's coming back. I like that convention. So, Bartek, this is another movie in which it ends with dancing.
Yeah, it does.
You know how... Yeah, imagine this. A scriptwriter was just like, oh, how do we end this movie? I don't know. Chuck it in there, dance and kiss. Roll credits.
So, do you reckon if you were to go to the start of this movie and say, hey, this day is going to end with you all dancing on the roof, really happy?
Hugging Anthony LaPaglia.
Hugging your father figure. Yes. Yeah.
How would you feel about that guy? And then like, bullshit, man. And the
really
bold chick will be like, I wouldn't touch her with a stick.
It wouldn't happen at all. And then this happens.
Yeah. But they danced quite a lot throughout the movie, so...
They do, and it's like the style of their
like,
score.
6 minutes of this movie is them dancing. And could you imagine this as a Broadway musical? You know how they're making Broadway musicals out of the weirdest properties at the moment? Like, they're like, oh, let's make a Broadway musical out of this. And it's like, okay, I didn't know that was going to be a musical, but all right. And they're doing okay. Like, they did, you know, they're doing Young Frankenstein, the musical. It's like, why? All right, then, you know, whatever. Do this. 1959 is the year my dad was born. So here's a question. His grandfather owned it as a plumbing store. And he said, my beatnik father...
We're talking about Joe, right?
No. The Mitchell.
Oh, right, yes.
He said, my beatnik father turned it into a record store. So it was a record store in 1959. How old is Mitchell? Because he looked like he was about, 30? So he would have been like...
Born in the 60s?
60s. But he says he, remembers it. What I got the impression was he remembered it when it was a plumbing store. But how would he? This has been around since 1959. So does that mean, he's 40? Or, 35?
Must be doing really well for 40s, yeah.
And I just wonder, how long was the grandfather in it? Not very long, I don't think. Because, was it, the grandfather died and then he turned it into the beat? You know when you say, he when he got it, I assume, he retired or died, but it's just, I don't think so, because, it just doesn't add up the ages. I assume, let's just say the age of the grandfather, of an old person is 80. Let's just put that for a male. I just don't think it adds up. Timeline, where's the dad? His dad, Mitchell, owning still. Why doesn't he still own it?
You know, if they made a spin-off, we could really explore his family history, because this movie, as much as it is an ensemble piece, he's very minor.
Yeah. As I mentioned early on, I have good music taste, and I don't like this conversation they have because I like a lot of the bands that they're shitting on. Like, I like Primus. Primus is great.
Primus is pretty
I mean,
cool.
you love South Park?
Yeah.
They do the songs in South Park.
Mm-hmm.
I love Henry Rollins. I like Henry Rollins' solo work more than Black Flag, as does Henry Rollins. So I get kind of annoyed. I was like, oh, these guys are losers. Like, not, I don't really care for the Pixies, but I like their stuff, but I wouldn't compare them and Primus to each other at all. Like, I'm sitting here going, it's like me going, yeah, Mozart, he fucking shits all over Rihanna. I mean, no. Like, no. It doesn't compare. But that's what
No, dude, Skrillex totally beats Beethoven.
Yeah, fuck Beethoven. I mean, that's in an epic rap battle, I think.
Is it?
Beethoven versus Skrillex.
Oh, shit.
Or Mozart. Alright, so we've finally come to the end. They had a little post-credit thing of stoners talking about stoner things. See, the honeymoon is over. Brilliant.
Hey,
Cruel
Joe.
Sea. I love that band. Check them out. Okay, so it's time for our reviews.
Mm-hmm. Guest, what did you think?
What's that, guest? Couldn't hear you over your blatant rescheduling lies. Damn you, Anthony LaPaglia. Why? I guess you could say they opened some doors to hell. Alright.
And they're open till midnight.
No, but don't matter. So, Bartek, why don't you give me your review of it and your rating?
This movie is definitely one of the more unique ones that we've done on this show. Because it really does, okay, all the synopsises and summaries talk about, they're trying to save the store, but, it's pretty blatant that this movie is an ensemble character piece that focuses on their relationships with each other. A friendship film, as you said earlier.
A friendship.
And... yeah, and it's not like a friendship between two people, like we've seen in many fantastic movies like Kangaroo Jack, Old Dogs, and the like of that sort.
But this is like Wild Hogs.
Yeah, this is like Wild Hogs on a bigger level.
Bigger is better.
Yes, because that one, yes, bigger is better, but in that one they focused it a lot more into four people, so it's not as hard to follow. Whereas in this movie, there are a lot of names that you got to follow, so you got to keep your notes down. You got to be a thinker. And bright screen. And I felt like their relationships, they were all very unique people, and they're very much characters that you don't really see that much these days. Like, you see, to talk about Lucas, you see weirdos, the basket cases, cloud cuckoo landers, whatever you want to call them, but they're all. To jump back to what you said about turning to the camera, I feel like they'd be more like, oh, he said a weird thing again, or he'd like wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of attitude, which is more parody-esque. And it's really nice to just see a movie that, as bizarre as it is, just play it all very straight.
Yeah.
I really like that about this movie. And Anthony LaPaglia, he did a great American accent, and he was very much, I guess you'd call the sane man of the movie. He's
straight man.
Straight man. The only sane person in the movie.
Yeah.
Rex Manning, he was a little bit sane, but also a bit egotistical, I guess, so you wouldn't really compare him that much. But yes, this movie, character piece, and it does focus on friendship, but also you can see the record store, Empire Records, as a bit of a family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you agree with the same inflection and the same word all the time.
No.
Oh, shit! So, that is the stuff that I like about it, and that is what I base my review on, and the rating that I give this movie is a out of 10.
Brilliant. While you talk there, I had a dawning realization, and this is going to be a part of my this is my review.
Mm-hmm.
I had a realization. We were talking about the conventions before. This movie is every modern current TV show. This movie reminds me of Community, Parks and Rec, The Office. I was wrong about the conventions. What happens is these conventions have been moved from cinema to TV. Think, this is a bottle movie in which it all takes place in one day, in the one location primarily. All these characters interact with one another, have zany antics, are all archetypes. This could easily be an episode of Community, or of The Office, or of this, and this. This trope, these conventions, have moved from cinema to TV. I should have seen it all along.
Were those specifically sitcoms you were listing there?
Yeah.
Sitcoms?
Yeah, specifically sitcoms. And what I was going to say was, I love this movie. I love the fact that it is a simple movie for simple people like us to enjoy. It doesn't berate us with too much, and it doesn't give us too much. It just lets us take what we can get. And the characters are simple, yes. They are archetypes, they are stereotypical, they are cookie cutter at best. But they are good. There's a reason why cliches work. There's a reason why these things work. It's because they are effective. They hit the right chords. And this movie hit the right chords. This movie is so good that I thought it was even better on another level when I first viewed it. And when I found out that it wasn't that, it was even better on another level. This movie, that's just this movie. You should check it out. The music is superb. The cast is very, very solid. The minor players played as strongly as the main players. There's not a weak, to be honest, there's not a weak link in this chain. There's not a character that I hated. There's not a character that I thought, oh, they could have been better. There's not one that annoyed me. There's not one that, to be honest, there's not one that I liked the most. And I mean that in a positive way. All the characters were so good that there was no real favorite character for me. I said that Rex Manning's my favorite, but I think he's my favorite because he was an outsider. Because we're looking in, and you can relate to Rex Manning because he is an outsider. I relate to the outsiders in this movie as well as the insiders, and I think that this movie manages to have multiple characters and multiple storylines going on at the same time. This film is right up there with movies that do that, like any Christopher Nolan. It's like Requiem for a Dream. That's what this movie is like. I give this movie, there's so many things I could rate it. I could rate it a lot. But I'm going to give this movie something that is simple. I'm not going to give you a rating because I don't have to explain my ratings to you.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Out of 5.
Out of 5. So, other people though, this is the best part, other people had other thoughts on the movie, Bartek. Other people did give ratings. These are from IMDb's user reviews, and oh boy, am I excited. I'm just moving the mic so I can get this going. Perfect. Well, not quite perfect. This is a 10-star review, so they thought it wasn't perfect, but they gave it a perfect review.
Not perfect, but a perfect score.
2001. This is from, for me, Empire Records is a very conflicting movie. On the one hand, it's hysterically funny. On the other, it attempts to make great revelations about America's youth. Somehow, though, it all works. Sure, there are some sappy, predictable parts that you're not sure whether to laugh or cry at, but the timing of these scenes is fantastic. One thing that really struck me about the film is the amazing use of music. Certain songs can be heard repeatedly throughout the movie, which really helps to distinguish the parallel storylines. All in all, I think it's great. Yeah. This one is from 2004, another 10-star review, in which this title is one of my modern favorites. Wait, the favorite.
Oh dear.
Well, obviously it's like one of my modern favorites, but it's like 10 years after it came out.
Yeah, you said 2004, that's literally 9 years.
9 years. Okay, this movie is awesome. The best thing is the music. Excellent. It's the greatest collection of songs put into a movie. Even better than Pulp Fiction. There should be a best compilation Oscar given to music supervisors. That's hard, but I love this. That's hard, but in this kick-ass movie, it seems so effortless. The acting is also top-notch. Renée Zellweger, Liv Tyler, Anthony LaPaglia, Robin Tunney, Johnny Whitworth, Max Caulfield, Debi Mazar, and Rory Cochrane. I'm not going to pronounce his last name. It's really hard. One of the coolest people alive. Yeah, I don't know how to say his last name, but he's one of the coolest people alive. The script is really good. Directing, also good. Everything was pretty... I love this. I don't know if this is a hip term back in the day, but here it is. Everything was pretty invisible. And I absolutely mean that in a positive way. Just like in the old days when it was invisible. They put you in the movie. I felt like I was with these characters in the whole way. The new remix special fan edition is probably better. I can't decide. They're both superb.
So, by invisible, does he mean subtle and clever?
I guess.
Subtle and well written.
Okay. Next one. A rock and roll good time of teen movies. Great choice of title. This is a 8-star review, and this is from 2005. So, like, wow,
decade,
11 years ago from here.
Yep, more time's passed since this review and us than the movie and this review.
I remember watching some of this when I was 11 years old, a year after it came out. A friend of mine was just in love with this movie, but I didn't really watch much of it. I just couldn't relate or didn't get it. When I made my wonderful journey to Blockbuster Video, I noticed it again and was just curious to see it. Renée Zellweger, Liv Tyler, and Robin Tunney. Wow. I'm glad I watched this movie because I can relate to it more now. My work, lucky enough, is a lot like this movie. We're all close friends and have fun. But I'd like to work at Empire Records. They can actually dance in the store. Smiley face showing teeth. Like the little emoji. Yeah. The acting was fun and enjoyable. The story is a hoot. I would recommend Empire Records for a watch. Just have fun with it. This was the time where there were some actual good teen movies. You also get early glimpses of Renée and Liv. They actually look good in this movie. Another smiley face with teeth. No offense to them. They just look weird now. That's 8 stars. That's the end of their review. I love that. That's the end of their review. Like, they just look weird now. Okay. On Unappreciated Masterpieces, we do these, and I've been striving to get more reviews of the opposite as well as the positive. So negatives, because on a masterpiece, especially Unappreciated, there's got to be conflict and debate. There's got to be the negative. This is destroy every copy of this film. 1 star from 2007. If you're looking for plot, serviceable acting, continuity, and general viewing satisfaction, you'd be better off renting a copy of the Garbage Pail Kids movie.
Man, that's like 2 weeks in a row you mentioned that.
Poor Anthony LaPaglia. He's a fine actor and does not deserve to have any affiliation to this crap. The only explanation to why he agreed to do this, to star in this film, was to pay off drug and or gambling debts, I imagine. Either that or the producers have some seriously compromising pictures of him. Everybody involved in the making of Empire Records should spend the rest of their careers writing apology letters to every sucker, in brackets, of which I am one, who had the misfortune of viewing such amateurish tripe. To anyone who actually enjoyed this film, I pity you. Seriously. That was so good. Bartek put his sunglasses on, and we're recording this at night.
Yeah.
That one was harsh, but let's go a bit more upbeat. Something for everyone. 2000. Yeah. This is a 10 star. Well, first of all, Empire Records reminded me of Seinfeld. We mentioned that. In the way that its plot lines are very deep and interrelated. Every character interacts with the others at one point in the movie. In the end, every single loose end is tied up and the audience is left feeling satisfied. Another main attraction to this movie is the music. There are tons of songs in the movie. Each one is well placed and important. The music practically pulls the story along at times. overall, the movie was well edited, well scored, and well acted. Everything was great, and everyone will love it. 10 stars.
Clearly not, because someone gave it 1 star.
Yeah, they did. Okay, this is a longer one, but I love ones with backstories.
Oh,
this is a 10-star. This is a 10-star review, made in 2007. So this is one more recent.
Damn.
How this became my favorite movie ever. Way back in 1997, at the young age of 17, I wandered into my local Hollywood video store with the family, looking for a comedy to get me through the night. At the time, I had been trying to get a job at one of the music shops in the mall. For the record, I never got one there. So when I stumbled upon this movie I had never heard of, I thought it might be worth the $1.99 I'd paid for it. So I take it home and it became a favourite, but not my favourite. Fast forward to a year later and I decide to move from Virginia to Alabama to be with my girlfriend who I met online. This was in 1998.
Yeah, wow.
Okay. That weekend after... Sorry, this is so much backstory. That weekend after moving my stuff into her apartment, all we wanted to do was cuddle, as we haven't seen each other in months. We decided to watch a couple of movies. I started digging in my movies and she started digging in hers. We turned to each other and lo and behold, we were both holding our copies of Empire Records. Wow. It was pretty hilarious at the time, and the taste in movies sealed the deal on our relationship. We've been together 9 years next month and have a 4-year-old daughter together. But the love for Empire doesn't end there. Oh, thank God, I was worried. Yeah. After moving to Alabama, I got a job at a movie theater. One of my co-workers there also held a second job at a movie rental store. He is the master of movie knowledge, and he became one of my best friends. One day I started telling him about this movie. He had never even heard of it. This was in 2001, mind you. He said he wanted to see it, so I brought it over and we watched it. He instantly named it his favorite movie of all time. From that point forward, we couldn't work together a day without cracking jokes by referencing lines from this movie. Every day at that place was Rex Manning Day. That was really cute.
That was a good one, and the backstory all kind of tied into the movie.
Yeah, it did.
Do you reckon they named their daughter Lucas?
I hope. I think that was actually the most... Since Bend It Like Beckham, that was the most eloquently written review we've done. Yeah. Okay, this is an alternative to that, though. This is worst alternative flick ever. It's spelled with multiple A's.
That I see. Well, that is with a lot of A's.
And it's 1 star from 2006. This is what they had to say. This was appalling. Seriously, who wrote and directed this sham of a film? Sixth form students? On a ketamine come down? It hangs together like a shoddy patchwork quilt. The characters are utterly one-dimensional and unbelievable. It is impossible to care for any of them for even 1 second. I wanted to pulverize Lucas's smug face until it was just paste in a skull-shaped bowl. Okay. It just makes me sick thinking back about it to review it. Gua were on screen for a couple of seconds, which is good, but even they are tarnished by this cinematic turd. Whichever cynical film company put together this mockery of an alternative teen life should feel ashamed and should probably be taken outside and shot. 1 star.
Damn.
Now, this is the last review. Okay. And I picked last review because I'm not always right with this, but there's some reviews that I think Bartek will personally enjoy. And I also just like them, so I put them at the end.
Okay.
From 2016. 26th of January.
Damn, that's around the time I saw the movie.
8 stars. I love this as it's from my time, it's called. Oh, God. It's... Bartek's laughing already.
Because you're smiling, like, you can't even read it.
Yeah. It's the 90s. Romania just got away from the communist suppression.
Okay, yeah, I guess they were a bit late on that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's the 90s. Romania just got away from the communist suppression. The advantage is that good music and movies are coming in more easily, and that is important.
Is this guy from Romania?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I might be biased by all this, but this... I love this. But this I such a nice movie. Even with all the cheesy lines and happenings. Now that's something you say. Even with all the cheesy lines and happenings, I like the characters, so different and quirky, and the plot so easy to digest, yet not simple. Of course, this is not a masterpiece, and yet it is enjoyable and funny, and even the fact that it's portraying some small piece of an era so well is amazing. I've watched this movie in 2013, and yet I could relate and understand it was a good teen movie, meant to entertain and make you feel like those simpler times were the place to be, like you wanted to go back to that somehow. Please don't dismiss this. It is a piece of history. Well put, well written, well played. Enjoy. Smiley face. I thought you would like that, because it's like instantly like, Romania just okay.
That was good.
That was good. Well, guys, I'm back in black.
And black and darker than ever, given what we talked about in this episode.
Yeah, pretty dark. This movie's dark.
And we did it at night, literally.
And the dog theme ended before I came back. I'm sorry, guys, that I wasn't there.
Ryan was so excited about the dog-a-thon dog month.
Oh yeah, I'm genuinely heartbroken that I wasn't there.
I came up with it like half as a joke, and he like latched onto it and said,
And I was
"All right,
like,
let's do it."
Old dogs. I was so keen for old dogs. Like, trust me, guys, I'm still heartbroken about not doing old dogs. At least out of all of them.
You didn't get to read the review of Old Dogs with a guy. I was like doing a stand-up comedy routine.
No, but I'm back now, and I'm glad. And I'm back, and things are returning as they were. I know, if you miss the old days of me not being here, tough. And you can listen to those 3 episodes again and again and again, and tell us how you feel about them. But I'm back, Bartek's back, Spit and Polish is back. I like how you called it Luke and Polish, referencing the idea that I'm Spit, even though neither of us is Spit. We both happen to be spitting, and we're both Polish.
Yeah, but Spit and Luke have 4 letters, so it kind of fit. It's one syllable.
Luke and Polish. But yes, that is that. I guess we finally did it. We finally conquered this movie. Anything you want to say before signing off?
No, not particularly. I had a good time.
Yeah, well, as did I. You guys, you know what to do. Spread the words, share the content around if you feel, and if you haven't, like the Facebook page, because we got some wicked content happening there at the moment. I just did a couple of videos for a Shaggy Dog episode that's related to that. If you haven't checked out the Shaggy Dog, check it out as well. But yeah, we're also, of course, on iTunes, so subscribe to that, and Podbean, follow there too. Yeah, we've got all this stuff happening there, so feel free to follow us and talk to us even, give us recommendations or give us some feedback if you feel free. But until then, you have been great, fantastic, wonderful, amazing listening people. And it is so great to be back in front of this microphone with my good friend Bartek to speak to you, the audience. Until next time, be kind to each other.
And maybe we'll have a guest on.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.